two, one. Talk about your experiences at Chaz, as it's commonly referred to, going to a school that wasn't in your community, but also that took students in that weren't from that community as well.
So at the time, Chaz was considered what Chicago Public Schools called a magnet school, which I believe back in the 80s, 90s meant, it was just a little bit better, right? Like the education was better. So there were quite a few African-American students that came to Chaz because on the south side, far as I know, this was the only magnet school. So if we couldn't get into the Whitney Youngs or the Kenwoods, which were doing lotteries at that time, Chaz was a great alternative with a great education. But it wasn't our community. The Mount Greenwood community has always been known to be a pretty racist area, mostly white and mostly people that didn't really like the fact that so many young black children were in their community every day. And that's something we had to deal with. Like the administrators at our school would tell us not to go too deep into the community, or when we would have gym at the park right next to the school, sometimes, the administrators and the teachers would get a little flack for that, or if there were community members out walking their dogs and such at the same time, we might get heckled. We might get called a nigger every now and again. So it was very, it was detrimental to our education, and I have friends that have really in-depth and detailed stories about it, because I was one who typically followed the rules. I came and I went to school, and every now and again I would go across the street to the donut shop or to this little spot that used to be over here called La Papa's. It's now a little hot dog stand. But they used to discourage us from doing that. But I do have friends that would be out in the neighborhood sometimes after school or before school that have pretty harrowing stories about some of the community members who did not want us there.
Good.